I am State Representative Dennis Tipsword, and I represent the 105th District. I've been an active member of law enforcement for over 30 years, and I currently serve as the Chief Deputy for the Woodford County Sheriff's Office in Eureka. Let's cut right to the chase. The Safety Act has been a disaster for public safety in Illinois, and it makes the jobs of law enforcement officers harder, including mine and everyone I work with. The Safety Act diminishes the rights of victims and allows for dangerous criminals to be set free, many times with weak and unenforceable conditions as they await trial. Since the Safety Act was passed into law, flaws have been exposed on a weekly and sometimes daily basis. The unintended consequences of eliminating cash bail have been devastating to public safety and the victims of heinous crimes. This legislation has left judges powerless, with no choice but to set dangerous criminals free with either lax conditions or unenforceable restrictions. The challenges to law enforcement, they are numerous, to say the least. Defendants set free on pretrial release continue to commit additional crimes while awaiting trial. Defendants set free on pretrial release are increasingly failing to appear in court, further bogging down the justice system and putting public safety at further risk. The increasing number of failures to appear in court are costing taxpayers thousands of dollars, along with taking officers off the street. In some cases, we have to travel an entire day one way just to pick up an FTA offender and bring them back to Woodford County to set a new court date, and once again, set them free. This issue is staggering, and the public would be outraged if they knew just how bad this problem is and how much money it is costing. Proponents of the Safety Act said judges would have more discretion in deciding if an offender is held pre-trial. Well, this is just plain ridiculous. The truth is, if a crime is not on the short list of detainable offenses, prosecutors are limited in the evidence they can show, and judges are forced to set offenders free pending trial. The examples of the flaws of the Safety Act and its provisions have shown up all over the state in the past 2 years. Earlier this year, a defendant charged with 21 counts of child pornography where I work in Woodford County was not able to be detained due to the Pretrial Fairness Act. He was released by the judge with these conditions. He was prohibited from being in contact with anyone under age 18 and not allowed to use the internet. Who or what is going to enforce these ridiculous conditions? Thanks to the Democrats in this state, our criminal justice system has been reduced to a form of catch and release, and that puts everyone at risk, including law enforcement, crime victims, and innocent civilians in neighborhoods throughout Illinois. Other examples, a defendant in DuPage County facing over 50 sex abuse charges, including indecent solicitation of a child and grooming, was not able to be detained pre-trial. And a defendant accused of reckless homicide in DeKalb County that resulted in the death of a law enforcement officer was also released pre-trial. That defendant was allegedly on cocaine and fentanyl at the time of the crash. These are unspeakable crimes, and yet those charged were not able to be held pre-trial, and they were set free. House Republicans have tried to introduce bills and expand the list of detainable offenses, but all of it has fallen on deaf ears with supermajority Democrats in the state legislature. We're trying to keep our streets and neighborhoods safe, and Democrats continue to bring forth legislation designed to give criminals earlier pathways to release, including those who are convicted of murder and child sex crimes. Other examples of bad bills that Democrats have brought forth that favor criminals include vehicle search limitations based on the smell of burnt cannabis, sex offender registrations that allow a registered sex offender to reside 250 feet from a school or park instead of the usual 500 feet. Changes to the truth in sentencing guidelines, which mean all people would receive good time credit on their sentences, thus reducing the time they spend in prison. An automatic 10-year parole hearing for criminals convicted of the most heinous crimes, and legalizing prostitution, just to name a few. This is like a nightmare for both law enforcement and the public. What are our priorities here? Instead of siding with and pandering to criminals, when are we going to enforce the laws and sentences handed down, protecting justice of the victims and enhancing public safety? 2 years in, the evidence is clear. The Safety Act is a horrendous law, and it must be repealed.